Hello, good afternoon once again, and welcome to Baby Child and Co, our Facebook live session. Whenever we are talking about nutrition, it's always so exciting. And today we are going to talk about nutrition again. While we are waiting for a few people to go online, let me just remind you that when you join us, kindly share to your pages, tag your friends so that they can come and be a part of the program. Leave your comments, leave your question, leave your likes, your hearts, your thumbs up. But most importantly, share so that others can get to see as well. Um, so we are Baby Child and Co. We do child health education mainly online. We've partnered with our guest before. In fact, she's literally a member of the household. I will introduce her now. She's Mrs. Pearl Salome. When I met her the first time, I wasn't really doing Baby Child and Co. It was on a low key, but her interest in nutrition, lifestyle diseases, how you can use nutrition to modify your life, really struck a chord with me. She really enjoys what she does, and we are happy to have her as an addition to the Baby Child and Co team. So, Pearl, you are welcome once again. I'm sure our guests are also looking forward to interact with you. Please give her tough questions, eh? Tough questions. Ask all the questions that bother you about the nutrition of your child. So
Yeah.
this afternoon we are talking about the nutrition of your children. It's Christmas, it's a time for festivities, and so we are talking about the nutrition of your children. Let me just take a moment. If you have a question, start typing it. Let me just take a moment to share to my page so you can also share as well before we give our guests time to um, start talking. Oh, okay. So I have just shared. Kindly share to your pages as well, and then we are good to go. So, like I'm saying, we are talking about nutrition, but in relation to Christmas, because Christmas is a time that we are all happy. I like to say that Christmas is for children because at Christmas, Christ has become a child himself. So we want to make them happy. But I mean, when it comes to nutrition at Christmas, there are certain things we need to think about. We need to think about the safety of the food that we are giving to the children, the hygiene, so that after Christmas they don't come in sick. We are thinking about how we are going to give them what we have spent so much time preparing so that they like it and they eat it. I'm sure you've had the experience where you've made some nice meal and you give it to the children and they don't like it at all. So how you are going to make them accept the food you give them. And then importantly, we have undernourished children and we have overnourished children. They're overweight and obese children. So how to make sure that we don't make the problem worse during this Christmas season. So you're welcome again, Pearl.
Thank
And
you. Thank you, Dr. Serum, for having me.
it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
So we'll start off by talking about food safety at Christmas.
Okay. Thank you so much. And good afternoon to your listeners and viewers all around the world. I'm excited about this particular episode because we know Christmas is a very important time for us. It's a time to share love. It's a time when we show love to our loved ones, our children, etc. Now, when it comes to kids, we are very particular about them because yes, they are the future leaders. We don't also want them to go through this Christmas entering into the new year with diseases, etc., not feeling too well. And so parents would have to be careful what they are feeding their children when they step outside to maybe I'm sure people may want to go out with their kids around this time. So we'll talk briefly about food safety and what to look out for in case you want to go out with your kids during this Christmas. First of all, you have to, before you even think of going out, think of the location. Try to do some research around the restaurant or wherever it is you want to take the kids, and be sure it's a very child-friendly environment. When you get to the place too, you want to check the tables, be sure that it's a very clean environment, because we know how children are. They will go touching surfaces, they will go playing around all over the place. And so the environment where the food will be served has to be looked at. And before you offer anything to the child, you, the mother, or you, the caregiver, would have to double check and be sure that it's in a good condition. Checking here means that you have to make sure you have to look at the color of the food, whether it's still in its fresh taste. You can also look at the smell. When it comes to food safety, some of these things would prompt you to know whether this food is still in a good condition or not, whether microbes have started growing on it or not. So you want to sort of may have a feel of the smell of the food and also the color, whether it hasn't changed, whether there are any um, insects, any insects around the area that could possibly contaminate the food before you offer it to a child. Mind you, children have their immune system is not as strong as ours. And so any small infection they take through food can result in things like diarrhea, vomiting, etc. So again, you want to double check and be sure that the children have even cleaned their hands. You, the parents, you have to show good example to them by washing your hands, sanitizing your hands before you start enjoying the food.
Okay, so that's a good start. We have several of our friends online giving us loves and thumbs up. We had a comment from Amanda Porter. I think she's watching us on YouTube live. And then we have Christopher, who is a friend who's joined us, says, nice program, we should keep it up. And we are happy that you have joined us once again. You know, when you started talking about us researching about the place we are going, I remember a comment someone made when the poster came out. The person was like, a small Christmas that they want to celebrate. So small Christmas that they want to celebrate, it has become an assignment. Yeah, but the thing is that, like you said, children, their immune systems are not very well developed. And you know, their bodies are small as well. So when they get things like diarrhea particularly, because when the food is contaminated, then the child can get diarrhea. Whereas you adults, the amount of poo or toilet you will pass and you are still walking about. When children pass that amount, then they become weak. The amount of water in their bodies can go low. So these are all things that we need to pay attention to. So that was about food safety. You said that we should, in addition to making sure that the surrounding is clean, we look at the food. Has the smell changed? Has the look changed from what it's supposed to be? And we wash our hands. Sometimes the children, especially the very small ones, it may not be enough to just wash their hands. You have to wash their face, basically around where
Yeah,
the mouth is, because
yeah,
the food, before it enters the mouth, journeys all around the chin, the
yeah.
cheeks, before it finally ends up in the mouth. Yeah, so we have to take those things into consideration as well. So that is food safety. We have Frederica, who has just joined us. And Aunt Frederica, you are very welcome. I think she's also a friend of yours, and she's saying a hi
Yeah.
to you, hello to you as
Hello.
well. Yes, so please share on your pages, tag your friends so that they can come and join us for this program. So we've talked about food safety. What about safe foods? When I say safe, not in terms of hygiene, but foods that will not make our children nutritious. Yes, that's what I should say. Foods
Okay.
that nutritionally are healthy for our kids. That
Healthier
we
for the kids.
can, yes, for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, we know Christmas, people, we just want to show love. We want them to have fun as much as possible. Um, Nutrition still comes in play because, like I said, we don't want the children entering into the new year not feeling too well. Already globally, just recently, the Global Nutrition Report was launched for 2021.
I
And
saw that,
unfortunately,
and
we
I
have
picked some of
about
my data from there. Yeah.
yeah, we have about 149 million children globally who are stunted under five. 149 million children are still stunted at 2021. We have about 45 million of them who are wasted, and 39 million of them are overweight. It means that we have to start doing something about it, not to add on to these data. We have to find a way of reducing this because if the under five children we have the more nutrition situation amongst them is this high, then it means that we are looking at a future where, if we are not careful, we'll have children who may not be fit to take up the positions that we are in now. We have to start preparing them well for the future. It means that day in and day out, the decisions we make around food for them has to be one that would rather improve their nutrition. And so during this Christmas, we urge parents to offer healthier options in terms of snack. Now, fruits are not something that children really like. Just like how adults, a lot of adults struggle to like
I'm not
fruits.
part two. I'm not part.
I know there are some adults who don't like fruits. When you offer it to them, you would have to offer maybe some $10 or $10 or some 10 cedi or something, a reward to it before they would enjoy it. But there are interesting ways that you can get people to eat fruits. One of them is to make it into a fruit salad or make it into a smoothie. We know children like ice cream a lot. So one of the creative ways parents can go about it is to get um, ice cream crates, and then you blend the fruits, you add your milk. If it is an infant, you can mix it with an infant formula. I'm talking about the children who are under 2, who are still on infant formula. You can make the milkshake with the infant formula and blend it with the fruits and put it into the ice cream crates for them, and then pull it out like an ice cream. So
Yeah.
instead of buying ice cream that may be loaded with a lot of
Sugar.
refined sugar,
Yeah.
you can rather offer the fruit as a smoothie in the form of ice cream for the child. And I'm sure families traditionally would love to bake. And so this is a time where you can get creative in the kitchen. You can either grate your fruits or blend it and mix it with whatever you are baking. There are so many options when it comes to baking with the fruits in there. And you can also even add some vegetables to what you are baking. So there is carrot cake. The child may not like to eat the carrot itself, but
Okay.
because the child likes to eat cake
Cake.
or a
Yeah. We
pastry,
like it.
you can either grate it,
Yeah.
and bake sort of with it.
Yeah.
That's another way of getting them to eat some of those things. And another trick that parents can use is that you should involve them. We know that when they come to the kitchen is messy, but at least once a year during this Christmas, you involve them in the cooking process. Ask
Excellent
them what they
suggestions.
would want to
Excellent
cook.
suggestions.
Give
Yes.
them some small tasks to
To
do.
perform.
If they
Yes.
are they are tr-
Excellent
they are a
suggestion.
bit older and they can help grate the vegetable, you tell interesting stories about them and then have them work on them so that you cook together. Once they are involved in the cooking process, it makes
They
it
are
easier
more
for them to
likely to
accept it
eat. Yes. Yes.
rather
Yes.
than you just cooking something and
Giving.
presenting it to them.
Okay, okay. So
So the
Jemima has joined us, and she's commending us for a nice program. John Sitter says that it's an excellent discussion, and I'm really enjoying it. Because I have children too, but sometimes we don't think about these things. I mean, we are all in a hurry. Eat good food, eat healthy food. But if you made a smoothie and then you made it into ice cream, all children love ice cream, or almost all.
Yes,
I haven't seen a
yes,
child who doesn't like ice cream. So that's an excellent suggestion. And then you also mentioned using some of the vegetables in your pastries as well, like carrot cake. How about coconut? We know that coconut is dense in calories. How about coconut? What can we do with
yeah.
coconut?
Coconut can also be used. In fact, you can grate the coconut, and then if it is so there when it comes to recipes, I always say that you have to be innovative, you have to be creative and try something at every point. So even with pancakes, you could sprinkle a bit of your grated coconut on it when it's almost cooked. You can have your coconut in your cake. That's another alternative. Or
Okay,
even in your scones.
okay,
All these things can have some fruits, pieces of fruit in there, especially for the older children who can chew. For
okay,
the younger ones who have less tooth and cannot chew, it can be blended into a pureed form and then used for them.
Okay, okay, excellent. So I've seen quite a number of our friends online who have come, but I am not feeling the shares. So kindly share them and then ask your questions, make your comments, ask your questions, especially Pearl is here to answer all the questions for you. I especially like it when you ask her difficult questions, eh? So make sure that the questions are difficult, the ones that will
I'm
make you
ready.
fit and
I'm
healthy.
ready for all the
So yes,
questions.
please. So please share. And if you just joined us, this is Baby Child and Co. We are talking about nutrition for your children during Christmas, how to make the food safe, how to make the food healthy, how to make the food presentable or nice to them so that they are interested in eating it. Because after Christmas, I mean, like she mentioned, a lot of our children are stunted. And she had said in an earlier program that when you are stunted, there's nothing we can do for you. When you are
Yeah,
standard after you
unfortunately.
are short, you are too short. There's nothing that we can do for you. So we don't want to use Christmas to make the problem worse. Some of our children are too big, and we don't want to use Christmas to make the problem worse for them. So that's why we are doing these things. And then we hope that we will clear all the doubts in your mind. So ask all your questions, but please share as well and tag your friends so that they can join us. Okay, so you talked
So
about the pastries. Yes, you're going to say something.
yeah, so I was just going to add on that it's not just about us focusing on calories. We should offer nutrient dense snacks to
Okay.
the children during this Christmas. When we say nutrient dense snacks, it means that it's not just offering them calories, but then we are in also a different time. We are not in a normal time. We are in a time when there's even COVID around. The last discussion we had, we talked about how important zinc is for children. And so
Yeah.
you want to offer them things that would improve their intake of some of these nutrients. Yes, so you may want to show them love, but let's also consider the long term effects of some of the things we are offering them. Research is gradually letting us know that sugar is one thing that actually causes dementia, it causes memory loss over time. So, offering children too much sugary drinks is not entirely healthy for them.
Actually, when it comes to sugar, I mean, the discussion can go on and on, but it's not that, I mean, it's what we call an empty calorie.
Yeah,
It's energy with no nutrients. Basically,
yeah,
that's what sugar is. So if you can avoid eating sugar altogether, you should. And I'll ask you how we can avoid using what we can use to replace sugar that is healthy
replace
for the
sugar.
children. Yes, but
Okay.
if you can avoid it, there are even parents who will come and tell you that they have children who are hyperactive, but when they feed the children sugary foods, the children become more hyperactive. They just won't sit, they won't listen, they won't do anything. They want to disrupt everything.
Yes,
So sugar, as far as sugar is concerned, is really not something that you should feed your child, especially not in large quantities.
yeah.
So we have a few questions coming up. And we love questions, so keep them coming. George Anda says, how long should we keep fruits and vegetables refrigerated?
Okay, so with the fruits and vegetables, so now luckily for us, there are innovations that are coming up. So there's this bowl I personally got that's able to store my fruits and vegetables to up to almost 4 weeks for me. It doesn't go bad.
I'm sure that's Tupperware.
Yes, it's from Tupperware.
Yeah.
It's really airtight, and so the possibility of microbes going in there to cause spoilage is minimum. So depending on the temperature of your refrigerator, some fruits and some vegetables can be kept as long as 3 weeks or 2 weeks and more. It depends on the temperature, and then whether you have dumso in your area or not.
So I
But
guess you are saying the answer depends. But then when is it too long? When you look at the fruit or the vegetable, how
it
can you
shouldn't
tell that
go
it's no
beyond
longer
it
wholesome?
shouldn't go beyond a month. It
Okay.
shouldn't go beyond a month. If
Okay.
it's going to go beyond a month, then it should be in the refrigerator, the
Okay.
freezer.
The freezer. Okay.
So there's I we talked about malnutrition and the number of people that are hungry. But then I also realized that from some research done that during Christmas a lot of food is wasted, and it's a lot of expenditure, it's a lot of money that is being thrown away. So if you want to keep your vegetables and your fruits longer, maybe you may want to freeze them So, for example, if you are intending to use them for smoothies, you can cut them, pack them into Ziploc bags and keep them refrigerated. So once you need it for the smoothie, you just pull it out. With that, it can stay longer in the freezer for you, up to more than a month, maybe 6 weeks or even more.
Okay. I personally don't use Ziploc bags. Is it bad? I don't use I just use the normal plain polythene. Is it bad? Because you mentioned
So
Ziploc
for
bags. I'm
children, you have the options. There are options. There are different options. And so every time you are buying these plastics, you should look out for those that are BPA free.
okay. Okay.
Those ones are safer.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
definitely.
But if you don't have the Ziploc bags and you have small safe containers that you can just chop the fruits into it and refrigerate it, that's also fine. It can
All
keep
right.
it for a longer period for you.
Okay. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
we have another question from Margaret Amenyampo. She's asking, for how long can smoothie be stored in the freezer, please? So if you freeze it, like you're trying to make your lollipop or something, how long can it stay in the freezer?
For the smoothies, up to even a month it can be kept. But then
Okay.
it depends on the temperature of your freezer
Okay.
and then whether your electricity is stable. And
Okay.
also sometimes uh, you may be tempted to bring it out and in. If you are doing that, it can even go bad
Okay.
before the estimated time is supposed to stay in the freezer.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have blended a lot of smoothie into a container, a large container, and at some point you want to take some, you bring the whole thing out, you want it defrosted, you take some and then send it back in. There's a possibility that it would even trap some microbes in that different environment before you send it back into the freezer. So it's better you keep it in smaller containers.
Yeah.
With that, it can even go up to a month in the freezer
Okay.
for you.
So that you don't thaw it and freeze it back. Once you thaw it, don't
Yes.
freeze it back. Okay.
Yes. And
So,
another thing about the sugar I want to hit hard on is that the too much sugar kind of destroys some of their brain cells. Children, we want them to reach their full potential, and they are still learning, they are still growing. We've taken them to school, we expect them to score good marks, we expect them to excel. So offering them too much sugar, as especially this time of their age, is not entirely good for the brain cells.
okay.
There's a part of the brain that helps us to control anxiety, depression, our ability to remember, and all that. Research has shown that if people are eating a lot of these refined sugars, it kind of diminishes that part of your brain's ability to perform these functions. That
Yes.
is
Okay.
why it's important to cut down on sugar. If you can't avoid it entirely, it's
We
important
should
to
cut
sort
down
of
on
cut
it.
it down for them and replace it with other options. So,
Okay.
for example, for children, they are still in that space where they are still learning, right? Unlike adults who you find it very difficult unless the person is diagnosed with a particular condition, then they now finally accept, okay, then I'm now going away from this. But for children, they are still learning, so it's easier to maneuver around them and get them
Yeah.
to accept new
Yes.
types of tastes
Because when
that
they
are
begin to love sugar so much, it becomes a habit that is so difficult to break. So
to break.
Nana Nyan Gardner is asking, A, avoid eating sugar. That's exactly what we are saying. We are saying that if you can avoid eating sugar, avoid eating it because there is no, apart from the energy that you get from it, there's nothing else that it gives you. So Pearl keeps saying refined sugar. And refined sugar is like the pure sugar with nothing else. For instance, if you eat mango, there is sugar in it, but that sugar is not refined. If you eat banana, there's sugar in it, but it's not refined. So because
White
sugar
sugar.
is very, yes, is very important and is generating a lot of interest. But first, let me say hello to Godfred Makafilumo. Our friend has joined us, says he's learning a lot. Thank you so much. Share. If you just join us as well, share. And you can leave all your questions, especially the tough ones for Pearl to answer, because I don't like her much. I want to give her big questions. Okay, so I'm just going to mention some of the things that we traditionally eat at Christmas that contain a lot of sugar. And then you briefly say how we can make the same thing without sugar. All right. So this one, I'm really putting you on the spot. All right.
Okay,
So
so we know during Christmas people buy a lot of drinks. So you
okay.
see, or I don't want to
No, we don't want
mention
to
names,
mention brand names, but when we say soft
branding,
drinks or
but
fizzy drinks, everybody knows.
you see a lot of these fizzy drinks in our homes. You know, we can replace them with let's say fruit juices, naturally made fruit juice. So
Or the one
instead
you
of
have made yourself, the one you have made
the
yourself
ones
at.
that you have made yourself, or if you want to buy, there are good options out there. Now we are getting very innovative in Ghana here. I've seen a company that is making natural fruit juice. It's not, there are no additives, and so the shelf life is very short. You can get such options instead of the ones that are so high. So one thing about the fizzy drinks, Dr. Seram, is that some of them are so high in sodium,
Okay.
even though it's sugary. When you check the nutrition information, you realize that the amount of sodium in there is also very high. If
Okay.
so,
And that's also bad, right? That's
that
also
can
bad. We are
increase
worried
your
about
blood
their
pressure.
kidneys. We are worried about blood pressure
Yes,
for the children. Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we can, instead of the fizzy drinks, let's cut down on the fizzy drinks and offer them with natural fruit juices. One
Okay.
thing about children I've realized also is that they learn from us. Whatever we do, that is what they copy us. I'm sure sometimes your children, when you are not around, they even mimic you. They go take your shoes and wear and walk exactly how you walk, you know. So they look at us and they do exactly what we are doing. So if we are saying they should stay away from the fizzy drinks and we want to offer them which I mean the healthier options, it means that we the parents have to be eating these things. So
Exactly.
you can't be taking away Coke from
Totally.
them. If you
And
yourself,
you are
you have
drinking.
1 liter of Coke sitting in
Yeah.
front of you.
Yeah. So the
So
next thing is toffee. Toffee. What can we use to replace toffee this Christmas season? What can we use to replace toffee?
what can we replace toffee with? Well, we are allowed to have chocolate.
Okay.
Yes, we can have some chocolates.
Okay.
Um, Ghana here, we have different brands, and the chocolate brands we have here are very healthy.
Okay.
Some have even very good amount of cocoa compared to
Yeah.
what we keep importing. So you can have some chocolates
Okay.
for
Okay.
them.
I have personally tried to dice. In fact, I got the idea when I was researching for an article that I wrote on our blog on mangoes. So I have personally diced mangoes and just frozen it into cubes and offered them, and they sort of thought it was like some kind of toffee, and then they were happy
Yeah,
with it. So you can replace toffee with diced fruits if you like, or chocolate.
fruits.
Yes, that's Pell is talking about. Okay.
Yeah,
So you've already talked about our pastries, how we can minimize the sugar in the pastries by adding our carrots and dried fruits and all that. Yeah, so those are some of the things that we can do. If you just
we
joined
can
us,
also
yeah,
we can also with the pastries we can also add some seeds and nuts in there. You know, once there's milk in the pastry, once you know there are certain things that children really like. For example, they like milk. Some children like yogurt. So if you are baking with certain and you add the seeds and the nuts, especially for the older children, chopped into tiny pieces, mixed with whatever it is you are baking, they will like it. I have two boys, and initially when I offer them with these things, the nuts in their raw states, they would
they don't
always
like it.
reject it. But when I bake chocolate cake, I bake banana cake, and I add these things in it. They take it and they
Okay,
even ask for more.
okay,
So we
okay,
just have to become a bit
okay,
innovative
okay,
in how our baking style will be around this time. For example, when you're baking, I know people use a lot of sugar in baking. So how about using some banana or an apple to replace the sugar you would have added, or cutting down on the quantity of sugar you would have usually measured, and then replace it with some fruit.
Same thing for our porridges and
Yeah.
puddings as well, right? Because,
Yeah.
for instance, oats goes very well with banana or dried fruits. Yes, so those are also things. There's a question waiting to be or begging to be answered. So
Okay.
Aduna is saying that is the end product of refined sugar the same as the end product of carbohydrates? Our foods are all carbohydrates. That's his question. Most of what we eat, even if you are eating meat, there's some carbohydrates in there. The end product is sugar. So how come we are saying that we want to limit the amount of sugar in our diet and especially in the diet of our children? How come?
Okay. Okay, so this is because, yes, sugar is a form of carbohydrates, and we have different types of carbohydrates, and they go through the digestion process to come out as glucose at the end of the day. Now, the reason why we are saying we should limit the refined sugar is that when you even look at what else it is adding on to you apart from the end products being glucose, the question is what else are you getting from them? If it is the other types of carbohydrates, if it is wheat you have taken, at the end of the day it's also going to be converted to glucose, right? But there are other additional nutrients that are in the wheat that you will not get from the refined sugar. It's just going to give you a lot of calories, but then they are
So
empty.
wheat, for instance, you are going to get your vitamins, you are going to get minerals, you are going to
Yes,
get a
you are
lot of
going to get
fiber
your
or
B
foliage.
vitamins from there.
Yes,
Yes,
yes. And sugar has nothing like that. It is just plain
yes,
sugar. Yes.
yes,
So that's them. And then another thing about sugar is that just by it being sugar, it is what we call pro-inflammatory. Sugar
yes.
is something that wherever it is,
Causes
it's
inflammation.
yes, and I want to try and explain inflammation. Inflammation is like, I mean, wherever sugar is just looking for something to disturb, sort of, in our bodies, you know. So apart from the fact that if you were to replace fruits or fruit juice with sugar, then you are only taking sugar and you're not taking any of the vitamins, you're not taking any of the minerals that you would have gotten when you took fruit juice. You're not getting any fiber. And we know fiber is very important for maintaining a healthy weight so that our children are not too fat. I saw the statistic, the number of children in Ghana who are too fat. I was shocked myself.
Yeah.
So this is what you are doing. But again, just the sugar in its pure form as sugar with nothing else added, it's pro-inflammatory. It causes a lot of damage in our
Inflammation.
bodies. Yes. And so that is
So
what is not good about sugar.
yeah,
Yes,
so
Phil,
to
go
add
ahead.
on to what doctor said, the sugar is going to cause inflammation. So you want to replace it with something that would not cause inflammation in essence. In essence, inflammation is, I would say, the genesis of most of the diseases that come
We
to our
have.
body.
Yeah.
And once your body is in that state, it even reduces your body's ability to fight infections. It weakens the immune system gradually. So you want to rather feed yourselves with things that would rather fight the inflammation processes for you. And if you are an adult and you keep being in that state of being in that inflammatory state, you would even age faster. So you may find people who are 30 years, but they look like they are 50. It is because your body is going through inflammation, right? So that is why we keep mentioning the fruits and other healthier options, because the fruits contain nutrients, antioxidants that is going to fight the inflammation for your body. So sometimes
And
the
there are
age,
actually fruits that are so sweet, you know. I mean,
yeah,
you can easily replace sugar if you want to.
yes,
Seriously, you just need
yes,
to want to do it because there are
yes,
fruits that I personally use at home, and they are so sweet, you won't believe it. Like they are even sweeter than sugar, I should say. But you know, when
itself.
you're eating them, you have a lot of antioxidants which protect our cells from aging and diseases, and you have a lot of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. So they are very fruits that are so sweet. You can easily replace sugar in your diet if you want to do that. Belinda
A
has
good,
just joined us, said hi. Hi, Belinda. Please share, tag your friends. Osman Ibrahim has also joined us, says it's great to be here, to learn, to listen. And I'm very
so
happy that you have joined us as well.
so
Yeah.
doctor, a good example of something that can be used to replace sugar is dates.
Yeah.
Dates.
Yeah.
Dates is very sweet. Like you said, It's even the taste is even sometimes sweeter than sugar itself. So if it
Yes.
is cereals you are eating and you don't want to add on sugar to it, you can have your dates in there. And you can also switch to honey, using honey, especially for the children who are older than 2 years, who are
Yeah.
above 2 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can use honey for them instead of the refined, the white
Yeah.
sugar.
Yeah. I personally use a lot of dates, and then I use blueberries a lot as well. I mean, they are very, very sweet. If you really want to replace sugar in your diet, you can do that. And those are not the only fruits. There are so many fruits that people even dry them, like the dried ones that you can use to replace sugar in your diet, and you will be happy because, in fact, even sugar, like you talked about dementia, but people even link it to a lot of mood disorders as well. You know,
Yes.
so I mean,
Yeah.
you can replace sugar if you want to. Sarah Agbe from our parenting club has just joined us. Says hi back. Benedicta has also joined us. Says hello. We are happy you joined us. Please leave your questions, especially the tough ones for this lady, and share as well. Tag your friends. So another question from Gardner. We are very happy about your questions. Keep them coming. He says that about chocolates. Is a full bar of dark chocolate healthy for kids?
Okay, so if it's depending on what you want to achieve for the child, if it is a child who is underweight and we are trying to increase the child's weight, a full bar of dark chocolate at a time is fine. If it is a child who we are trying to make lose weight, then you want to check how many calories a bar is given. Then you start putting portions to it. But so it depends on what you want to achieve for the child. But
Okay.
generally, if you are giving for the whole day, a child is taking a bar of chocolate, it's fine. It's
But it
okay.
shouldn't be every day, right? I mean, you
Yes,
don't
it
want to
shouldn't
let your
be. There should
child.
be some
Yeah,
adjustments to it.
yeah.
It shouldn't be like every single day. Like we always mention, there should be some sort of diversity because the chocolates, yes, may be offering some healthy fats, etc. But then we should also offer other things to their meals that would offer them with other nutrients as well. So yes, some days you can have the smoothie, you can have the pickles, you can have the chocolates on some other days for them. And then the what you also suggested about the fruits in the ice cubes as toffee. So you ask what we can replace toffees with. I mean, that's also very innovative. You can just cut your, whether it's mangoes, whether it's apples, you just freeze it in the form of cubes and offer it to them as toffee. You just have to tell them stories around these things and they would accept it. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Margaret is commending us, says it's a very educative program. We are very happy that you have joined us. Kindly tag your friends, kindly share as well. Let me just take a minute to talk about what we do at Baby Child and Co. So at Baby Child and Co, we are interested in child health education. We actually do it for free. So we do things like we are doing now, our Facebook live seminars. Sometimes we broadcast them on YouTube live as well. Then we do some YouTube videos. But then the big thing we do is blogging. We blog on child health issues. So our blog is babychildandco.com. That's www.babychildandco.com. And then when you get to the blog, we have a parenting club. What we do in the parenting club is that we just give you guidance through email. So every week, depending on the age of your child, we reach you and offer guidance through email. So we are talking about whatever age your child is. If we think that your child is ready to go to school, then probably we are talking about schooling. If we think that your child should have been, or you are trying to stop your child from bedwetting, then we are talking about stuff like that. The younger ones, the very, very baby ones, we are talking about breastfeeding, jaundice, and those sort of things, milestones. And then we are talking about what to expect, what your child should do at each age. So we do that. You can join our parenting club. It's free. We don't charge any money for it. And so because we don't charge any money for it, I mean, doing anything online is cost. So if you buy into the idea that we should educate parents, because I personally I have found that parents would make some choices because they don't have the right information or reliable information. And that is why they drive to give them the right information so that they can make good choices for their children. So to keep us going, we want people to advertise the products and services that are targeted at children for us, because that's where we can get some funds to fund what we are doing. So it's a win-win situation. We educate the parents, and our joy is that parents have the information that they need to make good choices. And your joy will be that you are helping us to do this, and also you are promoting your products online. So we have grown so much. I mean, every week we have, sometimes we even have 800,000 people on our blog. So that is something that you can take advantage of. If you have a product or a service that is targeted at children, you can let us advertise it for you to keep us going, because we are doing this. For instance, Pearl is not getting anything paid for anything, not even the data that she's using is free, but we need to keep going, because whereas Pearl may agree to do it for free, Google will not agree to do it for free. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel. When you do that, again, you are helping us grow, because at a point in time, there maybe YouTube will start paying us, and then we can use it to fund some of these things that we are doing. So that is Baby Child and Co for you. So Dolly Dottie has joined us. We are very happy that you are here. Kindly share to your groups and tag your friends as well, so that we are talking about Christmas and how to use this period to build good habits in your children. We want to reduce the sugar. We want to make our food safe, so that after this period, they don't come with diarrhea and those sort of things that they may get from not eating food that is not so safe. Okay. So
Yes,
Christmas,
so
we are eating. Yes, you want to say something?
I just wanted to add something again to the sugar. I know people are interested about,
Very.
they're wondering why we are saying sugar should be taken out. Why should we take out sugar? We should limit sugar also because once there is too much sugar, there is a spike, and your body would have to produce a lot of insulin to deal with the end products, which is the glucose. Once this cycle goes on for too long, you are looking at possibly having a situation where the glucose that is in the system, the insulin wouldn't be enough to deal with
Enough.
it. So you may be running into a situation where you may get diabetes, possibly. And
This
mind
one,
you,
people are always surprised. They are like, "Do children get diabetes?" And yes,
yes,
I deal with
yes,
children who have
yes.
diabetes almost on a
Unfortunately,
daily
yes.
basis. They're like,
Yes,
"Do children get diabetes?" They do.
yes. Unfortunately, yes. And their situation is even sad because for them, they are it's it's like they are insulin dependent. And so they have to be put on the insulin hormone. They have to be injecting themselves every single day. I don't think you would want to see your child in such a situation because it's also a lot of expenditure on the family because you have to buy the insulin every month and it's expensive,
And it's
So
trauma for the child. I mean, imagine a
yes,
little child receiving an injection morning and evening and those sort of things. A lot of trauma. You keep going to hospital, coming back. And
yes,
some of these chronic diseases, once you get them, we try to manage them as well as we can. But with age, the longer you have them, then you begin to see some other complications from the diseases. So that's another thing too. If you are looking at sugar, remember this one. And like Pearl was trying to say, these are habits that the children form. So you can train your
yes,
child right from the beginning not to have a liking for sugar itself. You
yes,
can train them that way, and then as they grow up, train up a child the way he should go. As they grow up, then they learn not to eat a lot of sugar. You can also train your child to eat so much sugar, and then when they grow up, it becomes so difficult. It's like sugar is everything. Everything that they are eating, there must be sugar. And sugar, the more you eat, the more you want to eat. That's how it is.
yes, 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 because it acts on your hormones. When you take it, it acts on your hormones and you would want to crave for more. So it becomes addictive. That is why if you can break the cycle and replace it with healthier sugars, it's way better. So as we keep talking about you replacing the refined sugar with fruits, the sugar that we are getting from fruits, it's also adding on additional benefits. So if it is, for example, bananas you are adding to the cereal of the child, you are looking at getting some minerals, potassium, magnesium, some zinc, in addition to the fructose, the sugar that they are getting. So that is why parents will have to, I know it's going to be a tough one at the beginning, but we want to look at the long-term benefits of some of these changes for the children. Because like I keep saying, in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years, Dr. Sarah, you and I will be grandmas, will be older. And these are the people who will be making the decisions for us. So we want to build their brain in a
So
way
once
that
their brain is not correct, the economy, we are
we
in
want to
trouble.
build them in a way that, yeah, they'll be able to take care of us when we
Okay.
are at that point of our lives. Yeah.
So I know we talked about food safety, but our focus was mainly on like when you are eating outside. How
Yeah.
about at home? Because at Christmas, a lot of us eat vegetables. I mean salad. Those of us who don't even eat salad on a frequent basis at Christmas because we want to introduce variety into our diet, which is good. We tend to eat a lot of vegetables, salad especially. Um, so this one you are making it yourself at home. What can you do to make it safe?
Okay, so first of all, it has to be washed very well, because unless you are getting it from a particular supermarket where you know the source of their vegetables, a lot of the vegetables and fruits we buy in the market, we don't know where it comes from. And sometimes when you even ask the market women, so for me, for example, I would usually ask you, where did you get your vegetables from? Which side did you bring it from? It all would help you know. Yeah, it will give you some information about the vegetables and the I mean, the residues of chemicals that could possibly be used in that area and all that. But since generally you wouldn't know where it is coming from, it's important to make sure you are washing it very well. So you can make some salt solution and wash the vegetables in it. Once it gets back from the market, you can wash it with salt solution. Or if you have some vinegar, you can wash everything with the water with some vinegar in it. Yes. And when it comes to the
So
preparation,
you talked about washing. Some months ago, there was this video on Facebook. I saw it on Facebook. I don't know where else it
yeah,
was, where there was this a woman washing lettuce with
with
soap.
soap.
What's your comment on that?
So, well, we can use carbolic soap in washing the vegetables. Bottom line is that we want to make sure that residues of the soap are not left on the
So you don't
vegetable
eat soap. You don't eat
so
the
that
soap.
you don't eat soap, right?
Yeah.
So you can wash it with Guardian soap, the carbolic, the red Guardian soap that we all know. You just make your soapy water, wash all the vegetables in it, and then wash it again in very clean water. So, like I said, you want to make sure that residues of the soup is not left on the vegetables before you go cooking with them. But the most simple way is also to use salt to wash it. Once you get back from the market, you wash everything before you start putting it in the fridge. Yeah.
So we have a question from Adriana, one of our friends, says very educative, good work. She would like to ask how many calories per day do preschoolers need? Because apart from the main food they eat, even the snack, I think her child takes plenty. And she was thanking us for the tricks for the sugar reduction. So the thing about children is that we do not want to restrict their calories. So it is those of them that are in hospital that maybe we need to build up we need to build them up nutritionally, or maybe somebody has some other disease where you need to be careful of the calories, or those of them that are too big and we don't want them to put on extra weight. Those are the ones that we want to pay particular attention to the calories that they need. Preschoolers will take maybe about 80 to 100 kilocalories per kilogram per day, but we don't count their calories. We only ask that you make sure that whatever you are giving them is wholesome. So sugar, for instance, is a lot of calories and nothing else. That is why if you eat so much sugar, you even put on weight because you are eating a lot of calories and nothing else. But instead of sugar, you give a wholesome food. Those foods tend to fill them for a long time. They don't get hungry so quickly. So we don't want to count their calories for them, except that they are sick. or they are too small, malnourished, and we want to build them up. So we want to make sure we are getting a minimum amount, or they are too big. So we want to make sure that we don't exceed a certain amount of calories. But I mean, they should be free to eat. It's just that the food, the choices should be healthy. When your child wants a snack, when you open the fridge, what looks at you in the eye should be healthy. So that, I mean, all your choices are healthy. So you are forced to pick one of such for the child. Yeah. So thank you
Yes.
for um
Yeah, so to add on to what you said, Doctor, generally for preschool children, they need about 1,200 to 1,006 kilocalories a day. But like you said, for children, unless we are dealing with a situation where the child is overweight and we want to try to manage the weight and cut it down, we don't overly restrict them, but we want to make sure that whatever they are eating is within the estimated calories they need for a day. One thing that parents don't really pay attention to is that the calories that we get from snacks are usually more. So if your child is putting on excess weight, sometimes it could be from the types of snacks you are offering them. And mostly the highly processed snacks have a lot of calories in them, unlike the whole fruits or the natural fruits that we offer them. Those don't give you so much calories. So
and
if
they
you are a
tend to
parent
keep you
dealing with
full as
an
well. They also
obese,
tend to keep you full.
yeah, an obese or an overweight child, you want to switch to giving them the whole fruits or the natural fruits instead of the natural fruit juices, instead of the highly processed ones, which are usually loaded with a lot of sugar. And sugar also creates an acidic environment. It creates a very acidic environment. And so the good thing you can start doing is that you offer them some water as much as possible. Because sometimes the children, the whole day, some of them, they don't drink water. All they want to drink is a drink,
Yeah.
a fizzy drink.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can start offering them water in between, natural water in between, and then even things like coconut water in between. And another thing is that all these things that we are talking about, it will become a reality if you pre-plan. So you as a parent or caregiver, if you are listening to us this afternoon, you take a few days or yes, a few days or hours and then pre-plan how you want your Christmas to be like. Because if the children don't see the unhealthy things in the house, they will not ask for them. Once
Yeah.
it is there and staring them in the face, they open the fridge and there's sugar all over the place, they would definitely want to take it.
Yeah.
So maybe you should start cutting down on your budget on sugar, going for the sugary things and then
Yeah.
replacing it with, because like I keep saying, we are looking at a future for our children and ourselves where we wouldn't have to spend so much of our hard-earned money treating diseases.
This is yes. And our economy. If our children can't think properly, our economy will never work for us. Okay. So
Yes.
we have another question.
Yes.
That's Benedicta says that please, my child only eats yam vita and Cerelac and nothing else, not even fruits. And I'm worried because he's almost 2, and those are the only food he takes. I want to know if it's fine or not. Thank you. So I know you are
So,
going to do justice to the question.
yeah.
We'll try not to deal with the brands
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
but I feel like I should say that if after this session you want to have a consultation with Pearl, just when you go to Facebook or our blog, babychildandco.com, we have our number there, or even an email, a WhatsApp number. You just send a WhatsApp or a mail or something, and then I'll get Pearl to respond to you. She can even help you to prepare a menu. She can do consultation, all those things, not even one sitting. She can take you on a period. So for instance, if it's that your child has an eating disorder, that will not take just one conversation to solve. It may need a lot of conversations and a lot of guidance.
Yeah.
So if you think that you need Pearl to help you in that regard, when you go to our Facebook page, there's a WhatsApp number. Just send us a WhatsApp. Or if you go to our blog, babychildandco.com, even on YouTube, our blog is there. You just send a message and then we'll get Pearl to respond to it. But Pearl, please, can you deal with this question?
Okay, so if your child is only taking this two different, yeah, just the two cereals you have mentioned, we should be a bit worried because he's still growing. The brain is still developing and would require a lot more than just what you are getting. So, like Dr. Sayram said, you can contact me privately and then we'll try to find out why he is not accepting the other meals you are offering. And sometimes it is the presentation. I've had to deal with parents sometimes, and I realize that sometimes it is the way we present the food to the children. We sometimes assume that children are miniature adults. So the way we communicate with them sometimes around food, we assume they are like adults, but it is not like that. The amount they even need at a time is entirely different from what you will give an older child. So yes, Benedicta, you can get in touch and then we'll try to see how we can help your baby to accept other foods. Yeah.
But if Benedicta is still on the line, what I would like to ask Benedicta is, I mean, what if for one day there is no yam vita, there's no cereal, this particular kinds of cereal? What if they are not there? And then I also want to ask, what if you prepare food for the family? Let's say that the family is eating rice and stew or manko and okra soup. When that happens, what happens to the child? I mean, I'm looking at a situation where you've prepared a family meal for everyone, and your child has not yet eaten his preferred food, which is the two cereals you have mentioned. What happens to the child? Let's say there is no, this cereal is not at home at all. What happens to the child? So if she's there, maybe she can try attempting to answer that question, because sometimes we feed them what they prefer before we bring the family meal, and then they are not even interested, especially something that contains sugar that is giving me I'm happy. They are not even interested. So she
Yeah.
can try to answer this question and let us see. There's this question that a friend asked me, so you can okay, so she has answered me. She says that if she gives only the family meal, the child will not accept anything the whole day, only water. All right. So you should get in touch with Pearl, as she has said, because this is not something that we can just talk about and then it ends there. So kindly get in touch with us and then we'll connect you with Pearl. Okay. So a friend told me that he has a daughter who is I think maybe 6 or 5. Whenever the food comes out, the cane must come out. What's your comment on that?
Please come again with your question. Sorry.
So a friend of mine, he's watching anyway. He asked me this question some time back. He says
Okay.
that whenever food is served, when you cook and you give the child hair portion, the cane must come out, which means that the child will not eat until the child is beaten.
Oh, well, I think that has to be discouraged because eating and food should be like a fun time. Food brings excitement. Trust me, everywhere there is food, there is excitement, and so you shouldn't put that fear into the child. Once you start bringing a cane every time you have to feed the child will grow with that, thinking that every time I have to eat, the cane has to be brought out before I
Food must
accept the
become punishment.
it's like more like a punishment. So the child will continue not accepting food. So if your friend is listening, I think he should stop using the cane and probably get in touch. We'll find out, we'll use interesting ways to get a child to eat. We have seen it before. Parents come complaining, my child wouldn't eat anything. We give them a few tricks here and there. They try it and it does work. So it needs a lot of patience. That's the part I think parents don't have because of the busy schedules they have.
Yeah.
Sitting down and spending over 40 minutes just to feed your child is a bit stressful for parents. So they unconsciously start taking it out on the children. So your friend should get in touch. We
Yeah.
beg him, he shouldn't
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
using cane.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
one.
I totally relate with him. You wake up in the morning and you want to go to work and you are
Yes,
brought
I
food and
am.
this. I mean, it's so frustrating, you know.
It's
And if you
frustrating
don't deal with it well, the child develops a very bad relationship with food.
with
And as you
food.
said,
Yes.
food should bring joy, should bring
Yeah.
excitement, food should make us happy. And then there's a child who, whenever she sees food, she's already unhappy. She's just stressed at the sight of the food because she knows that the next thing is the king. Okay. So you know what? All too soon our time is up. When the discussion is lively, that is when the time flies. But if you have just joined us and you are watching us even after the live session, you can leave your comments. We will attend to them. I'll get Pearl and myself to attend to every question, every comment. So you can still leave them. And even if you are watching on replay, please share because, like I'm saying, what all we want to do is to educate children. And I've also said that our platform is really, really growing. We have I mean, we are happy about the numbers that visit our page, our blog every week, every month. And so you can take advantage of our growth and partner with us. If you have a product or a service that is targeted as children, please kindly get in touch. Let's in touch. Let us promote your products for you. You are helping us to do what we do, and we are also helping you to get customers for your product or your service or whatever. And I've also said we've had Pearl a few times, and sometimes some of the questions need a lot of intervention. It's like therapy, actually. I mean, when you see the person, you need to follow up. So if you would like Pearl to help you, even for the adults, because that is how I met her. I met her through one of these things where we use food to cure our diseases, that sort of thing. So even for adults and then for children as well, that's where our attention is anyway. She can help you to make a meal plan. She can help you with a menu. She can do therapy for you. And if you would like such a service, just contact us on WhatsApp, on our blog. You can leave a comment or you can email us, and then we will get in touch. We'll link you up with Pearl. She really enjoys what she does, and we are sure that it will be a good partnership. So thank you so much for joining. We are so happy that so many of you have joined. If you didn't join, we'll be very sad because we are doing this because we want you to join. So thank you. And normally we do only one live a month, but this month it looks like we will do another one. And then so when the flyer is out, we will urge you to take advantage of the opportunity and join us as well. Thank you so much. So bye for now. Bye.
Bye.